Hey everybody, Chantel. Decided to do a video. Hadn't done a video in a little bit, and I wanted to talk about a few things. Check in. Um, First thing I wanted to talk about was that I have gained a little bit of weight back, which as you can see, I'm smiling, so I'm pretty happy about that. Probably gained about 7 to 10 pounds back, and that sort of fluctuates depending on the day and what's going on, some foods that I've had or whatever. But I'm really glad because I really thought that I gotten a little bit too thin and needed to fill out a little bit, and so I was able to put a little bit of weight back on, and I'm really excited about that. So that still has me in a size 2. Although I have noticed that it's getting a little tight, and then that I can fit in a size 4. So I was fitting in a size 4 before, but the way that I like my clothes to fit are pretty fitted. So a lot of times I was just sticking with 2s, and I'm still smalls or extra smalls in the tops, depending on how the bust fits. So I just wanted to say that it is possible if you feel like you've lost a little bit too much to manage yourself and manage your diet so that you can gain a little bit of weight. I haven't necessarily been able to eat a lot more. Maybe as I mentioned in my last few videos, a little bit more than half of a burger or half of a sandwich, that type of thing. It's about the same, but I have managed to strategically eat more during the day, so getting more calories in. And I'm really happy about it. Really have been wanting to gain a little bit more, so I'm happy about it. So, and the other thing I wanted to talk about today, something has really been peeving me. And this is something that's kind of been ongoing since I've had my surgery. And I always tried to give everyone different tips and things you might have to deal with. A lot of times I deal with emotional things. And something that's been bothering me lately is that we eat out a lot. And I've always dealt with making excuses for my food that I don't eat. And, I got to thinking about this the other day because, I don't think my personal opinion is this. If I'm paying for my food, I don't personally think that I need to make an excuse for what I do or do not eat. This has been just a different issue with me and my fiance because we were both raised, you don't waste food. And, a lot of the reason that I was the weight that I was at, I feel, was because of how I was raised in terms of we just didn't waste food. And the food that we had on our plate, you eat food and you just eat what you have, you don't waste. So that's a big issue into going, I think, into your adulthood. A lot of people were just raised that way. And so the issue that I have is that when I go to a restaurant, try to be wary of aware of what I'm ordering in terms of how big the food's going to be. Sometimes you just don't know if you're eating, because we eat out a lot. But the thing is that when I'm done with my food, lately I've had a lot of issues with waiters and waitresses putting their own personal opinions to me about the food that I did not eat. Number one, the food wasn't good. And I'm very tactful and nice about all this, because I understand that it's a service-based industry and they want to make sure that you were satisfied and that type of thing. And so one of the things that you can do, the first thing that I do is I explain to them that I just don't eat a lot. And that is not something that really works a lot of the time, truthfully, because a lot of times they're baffled and they really don't understand that. So another thing that you could do is really what I normally get when I have this attitude, when I get an attitude about this, is whenever I don't want to take the food home for whatever reason. And, you know, people can judge me about that, and people can say nasty comments to me, but I don't always take my food with me. I usually try to when I know I can, for going out or something like that. A lot of times, and I don't even know why I'm feeling like the need to explain myself. Again, goes back to how I was raised, and wasting food. So, but the issue is if when it gets me is when I don't want to take the food. And the comments have been made, and especially in the last few times I've went to eat somewhere. And I try to be as respectful and as nice as I can, but, it can get to you sometimes. And this may seem so petty to be even talking about, but it's uncomfortable for me. And I don't want it to be uncomfortable for me. And, people that go out with me, they know, most of them know. So they don't make a real big issue about it. But lately it's really been kind of bothering me, because the one lady said, one of the times she was like, it's not good. Are you sure you don't want? And she'll ask me 3 or 4 times, coming back to the table, won't clear my plate, and ask me, do I want to take the food? So here's one thing that I learned that you can do. Besides shuffling your food on your plate. I mean, everybody that, if you get into a situation like this, may get into that, where you can shuffle your food on your plate, that you're not going to eat it. And there's strategic ways that you can take your bread off your plate. You can push this around on that. And there's ways to make it look like you've eaten more than what you've eaten. That's the one thing you can do. And then the other thing you can do before you get up from the table, or when you're done, is take your napkin and put your napkin in your plate. Put it in your plate, cover your food, or partially cover it. Put your napkin, and, sort of just push it out the way, so that typically when you do that, they won't even ask you to take a box. And I've learned to do that, and that has really worked a lot for me. And I'm sharing this with you guys because it's become such an issue for me that I feel like the need, like I'm doing now, to explain. And if you're in a lot of social situations, it can be awkward. So I don't know, maybe this is just like a tidbit of information. Maybe people are going to think that I'm being ridiculous. I don't know, but it's something that I do that has worked for me, and I just always want to share issues that I'm having, and different things that I'm going through to maybe help someone else, try to deal with it, because that's another aspect of going and living with yourself like this, is that you're not going to be able to eat a lot of food. And what do you do about it when you don't want to take it, or when you this is just something that that you could do. Like I said, put your napkin, or put, if you don't have a napkin or whatever, put something on your plate, load your fork up there in a way that they know that you're done. And if they ask you, respectfully say, no, I'm good, and, oh, was it good? It was delicious. I just don't eat a lot. But I appreciate that. And you don't have to explain that you had weight loss surgery. And you don't have to explain anything. You're paying for your food, I've gotten ugly looks, condescending looks. I've gotten looks from people that really are offended by it, waitresses that are offended by it. To the points where I've said, you can have it if you really, if you really want it, you can eat it. I mean, it's sinful. It's not my fault that your restaurant won't let me order half orders, or off the kids menu, whatever. I'm just doing the best I can, like you are. So, I don't know. I don't know, man. I even post this video, but I just kind of wanted to talk about it. If anybody else is going through that, or have had that problem, that's something that you can do. And again, not to be rude, and but just another way that you can deal with something in your life that you're going to have to deal with for the rest of your life, because you won't be able to eat a lot. That's it. If anybody has any questions, comments, of course, I'm always up for that. So just give me a shout. Bye.